Hello, and welcome to another episode of No Love Time. My name is Obed Velez, and with me, it's the most interesting man in the world, Joel Young.
What's good? No load time. Obed, good to be back with you, man.
Sorry, we almost went live while having a candid conversation about sports.
Yeah, that's not the worst thing to
That's
go
not
live
that's
on.
not the worst thing ever. That's like, what's that Tony Stark thing? It's like this is not the worst thing you
This
caught
could
me
be
doing.
worse or something. Yeah, where he's getting the suit on. Yeah,
Yeah, exactly.
yeah, yeah. We're
Uh,
just talking about basketball,
yeah,
so it's fine.
basketball. How are you, man?
Dude, I'm doing good. It's you and I, we both said, from our professional side, we had some days off. And so not that we're not professional on the show. That doesn't sound right saying it that way.
Hey, we
Um,
try to. I mean, it's
we really
every
do.
once in a while it's amateur
Yes.
hour. Like the first 10 minutes of the stream last week, where everything was zoomed in, and then I realized after the fact,
Yeah.
and I fixed it. But hey, you know what? As long as we
Yeah,
can
yeah.
fix stuff on the fly, that's why I'm here, right? That's why
100%.
that's why
That's like Obed
that's
is a
that's what I
professional
get
at
paid
fixing
for.
stuff too. So surprise, surprise. Yeah, no, like we try, but like we had some time off is what we're trying to get at. So
Right.
it was like, with that, it's funny. You have some time off where we probably both can agree we're still sleepy and still we're still covering from just a lot of busyness that's been going on in life, but
Right.
all is well, all is good. I know last week we had a really fun time doing our streaming
Yeah.
of us playing Star Wars Battlefront 2 and just talking and just catching up and like, it is not as easy as it seems to be fully focused on trying to actually
I'm trying to
do
be
good
good.
in that game
Right.
and like just talk about things. I don't know why it's just not as easy
Right.
as I thought it would be. But you know what? We're gonna probably keep doing it. You and I have
Right.
have some
Yeah.
good conversations about some other games and
Totally.
stuff we might do. But yeah, it was a good time.
It was a good time for sure. Yeah, we're definitely going to keep. Probably we'll do it once a month. So the plan
Yeah,
right now, if it's okay with you guys, it's it's we'll do the regular show like this one. Basically 3 times in a row, kinda,
yeah,
and then the fourth time we'll just do a stream, and we'll keep it like that. So we do three and one, just to keep content varied, right? And
yeah.
thanks to everyone that tuned in. And again, if you're tuning in for the first time, welcome. If you would like to throw us a bone, patreon.com/no time. We're there, and help us grow and help us get a better graphics card. But we did. I think it turned out very well.
Yeah.
We had to go through hoops. Like we don't have, I guess, professional equipment. I'd so say we do have it,
Yeah.
but we're constrained to the limitations of our setups.
Correct.
Like I like my room. I don't want to have cables everywhere. So I have enough cables as it is. So um, I like to keep it streamlined, but you know, I think it turned out, all things considered, both
Yeah.
times that we've done it, it's turned out pretty good. But it's something that we're definitely going to be doing more in the future. Just having just a conversation while we're playing. So
Right. Right.
you know, we can't do it in person. We can have pizza while doing it. That would be awesome. But we'll try it. We'll try
I
it.
can. So
We'll
I'm
try
just
it.
kidding.
I can too, dude. You know what? Now
I'm
I
messing.
gotta.
I'm messing.
So I don't like. It's one of those things, right? It's really hard every time I go to the doctor and I weigh exactly the same. I've weighed exactly the same thing for the last like 5 6 years.
Oh, at least
And it's
hey.
well, the thing is that it's insane, dude. Because I get home and I
Mhm.
eat whatever, right? And
Yeah.
and I don't eat anything else until like 8 on the next morning.
Right.
Like, you know, whatever you consider that intermittent fasting or whatever, because I don't eat for a good like
Sure.
16 18 hours probably.
Right. Right.
So, I don't know, man. It's like it's just this
Which is
meta
great for your
once you
rest. You
but
probably
once
sleep
you once
good.
you hit 40, dude, this metabolism thing, it catches up with you.
Gotta change
it's
that. It's tough.
it's
It's
real
tough.
tough, dude.
Yeah. I respect it. No, I
Yeah,
respect it. That's
yeah.
tough. No, man. No, I get you. I got you.
um, but yeah, and I was able to actually do something while during the holiday weekend. I haven't something I haven't done in a very long time. But we on Memorial Day we had the opportunity to actually go down to the Kennedy Space Center.
Oh, cool, dude.
Uh,
I've been wanting to go.
yeah, well, yeah, 'cause I haven't been there in 2011 probably.
Yeah,
It's been a
yeah.
long time. Just to put in perspective, last time I went, they had just brought in Atlantis, but it was like parked on the side. It wasn't
Wow.
like, and now they have like the full building experience, right? Where you go in, um, and they do the whole space shuttle thing, and then you get to see Atlantis. Um, Bro, I got like really emotional. Like it really get like I
It's
love space.
amazing.
Like I love
Yeah,
space
yeah,
because I
same.
because I love space. I love everything. Like everything ever since I was a kid. Something that I really loved, and I really loved the space shuttle. Like I was telling my dad, my parents went with us, um,
Nice,
and
nice.
I was telling my dad, it's like, hey man, I remember when I was a kid. I was like maybe 5, 6, 7 years old, maybe, and I remember having a space shuttle toy because the space shuttle had just launched, a couple years before that. Um, so that's how much I love the space shuttle. So just going through like the experience thing, and then playing the video and the music, and then the
Right.
and then the thing leaves. Oh man, it hit me. I was like,
Wow.
oh dang it. But yeah, it was really really good. We had a really good time. It wasn't crowded at all. We were expecting a holiday crowd, and it was gonna be insane. And it was great. Like we didn't wait for anything, and um and the weather was awesome too. So we had a really good time. We got to do pretty much everything. Only things we didn't do was like the meet and greets, and then we were able to do one of the IMAX movies. So yeah, other than that, man, it was we had a good time. So
That's awesome,
yeah,
man.
it's changed
I
a
mean,
lot. Changed a lot.
yeah, and
And
then that's the thing, man. Like I, growing up in Florida, seeing like the spaceships going up, just really go out your backyard and just watch those things go up into the sky is awesome. We've now got our rockets that are going. They're not really doing as many manned missions the same way with the traditional shuttles, mostly just rockets, and it's changed so much, but to know that most likely in our lifetime, Obed, we're gonna see like space tourism to some extent
yeah,
start to become a thing. Actual living on, another planet, that may not be, I don't know. But the sense of just literally having like the average person be able to actually just go to spaces was exciting. And hey, I know a lot of people are scared, technology and things have got to be figured out to a certain point to make it more comfortable, right? But yeah, I definitely would be one of those people who'd want to take the trip if I could. I
oh
mean, they
totally.
said William
Oh,
Shatner, dude, was like 90
oh,
something,
he
bro.
was
For
like
even I know he
he's
just
91.
orbited, not yeah, like the
Yeah,
dude like orbited a little bit, right? Came back down with the Blue Origin. Like, come on,
yeah.
like
Even
I'm
that
down,
dude, like even just
right?
going through that experience, yeah,
I'd be good with
that
that.
would be that would be messing. Yeah. No, yeah, it was great. It was my daughter's first time going there too, so
Wow.
it was we had a really good time. Um, they everything was clean and working, and yeah, it was pretty good stuff. We have something planned for next week. I'm actually on vacation next week. We got something planned. I'm not gonna talk about it on the show just in case she
Sure.
she watches the video,
Hey,
but maybe if we record, probably Friday next week, more than likely, right? If we're available. We'll talk. We'll talk. So we'll see. Um, but yeah, man, that's what I got. I don't know if you have
yeah, that's
anything
awesome.
else, dude.
No, man, nothing crazy. Yeah, we can jump right into news.
Cool. All right. Where do we start? You want to talk Kathleen Kennedy? We haven't
Oh,
talked Kathleen Kennedy in a while.
yeah, that's a
Yeah.
good
All
idea.
right. Let's talk
Yeah,
Kathleen Kennedy. Um,
Miss
so
Kennedy.
there, there was an interview. I guess the New York Times had an interview with Kathleen Kennedy, and she spoke of the struggles that they've had with Star Wars being a male-dominated fan base, as she put it. Um,
Interesting. Yeah.
I and we talked about this before, and we're not part of the, you know. I don't want I don't want to throw a YouTube challenge out there, but we're not part of that crew. We don't wear
Yep.
masks to, we don't have we don't have sources and I
We're
think our
chill. We're
track
chill.
record is actually better than people that say they have sources based on
Yep.
predicting this how this has gone. So, but we're not your typical like Star Wars fanboy, right? And even going to like super fans, like even Theory, right? At some
Yeah.
points, right? Um,
Yeah. Oh, sure.
and I love his content. So,
Same. Yeah.
but I know that to some extent she's right,
Mhm.
but she's not. She has some. Um, I want to phrase this properly. There's some truth to what she's trying to say.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's fans that there's just some men just want to watch the world burn,
Oh,
right?
sure. Yeah.
And
All right, Batman.
uh, Alfred, um, and but some other fans, right? So I think that you and I fall on that other category, and I would say that most of the Star Wars fans that have a proper voice, like not counting Mike Zero, right? It's like they, you know, we don't dislike it just because Ray is a female. We don't dislike it because Rose just got in there in that movie and did the thing, right? We don't dislike
Right.
it because Captain Holdo took the ship and went hyperspace into the main ship for the First Order. We don't dislike Kenobi because Deborah Chow, right? Like that that's what I'm trying to convey here. I think
Hmm.
we
Yeah.
don't dislike it.
Yeah.
Like I don't dislike the season 3 of Mando or whatever because of Bo. Like, I'm just trying to say that, right?
Yep. Yep.
Um, our criticism is based on the quality of the content, not who is either directing or who's acting, right? Um, and it's the same reason that I've been critical of the Acolyte, and I'm still not gonna watch it. You tell me how it is, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's not because the showrunner's a female. I don't care, right? I don't care.
Right. Right.
Problem is that when you come in and you're trying to be the showrunner and you're telling people that the guy that made up the whole thing doesn't know what he's talking about, then we have a problem, right? So, and going back to Ray, right? My problem with Ray is not that she's a female. It's just that she is basically space Superman or Star Wars Superman. It's like she's not, and even Superman like again. I know that a lot of people criticize the Snyder take on Superman, but I liked it because he was flawed. And why couldn't Ray be flawed, right? Why can't she be awesome at everything with no training? Like why can't she struggle like everyone else, right? Um, the best example is Leia in the original trilogy, where she was a strong, empowering female character. She was a leader, a fighter. She was out there down in the trenches and leading and doing the thing, right? She was an awesome, awesome female character, and at the same time, she had the sensibilities, falling in love with Han and all that. So that was awesome. But then you have Ray. I was like, oh yeah, I'm great at everything, and you can't beat me. That's our criticism. Um, you know, I know that is tough, and the way that she paints it, right? It makes it sound, you know, the vocal minority on social media, right? It's like a quote from the interviews that she did is my belief is that storytelling does not need to be representative of all people.
Does need to be.
That does need to be. That's an easy decision for me. Okay, he said, but she admits that it's terrifying working with, you know, a franchise like this in the era of social media. And yeah, that's fine, right? It's like, yeah, it's great that you include everyone. Uh, George did it the proper way, and that's the problem. Like our problem is not, and we've been critical of Star Wars, um, not because of who's leading. Not, you know what? And at the end of the day, it's not even about Kathleen Kennedy. It's about the content that she's greenlit and how things have been done. I don't have anything against it.
Yeah.
I told you guys that she's staying, and Bob was leaving like
You
before that. She's still there.
and you didn't need a mask to tell us that.
Yeah, right, right. And that's the thing. Like everyone was
Yeah.
predicting that oh, she's gone. She's been gone, and her email's
My
turned
sources
off.
tell me.
Yeah, her email's been turned off for a year now. How is she getting emails?
Jon Favreau will say Star Wars.
John, John,
Come on.
John Favreau has done a phenomenal job,
Yeah.
and he can surely lead the franchise. Honestly, um, but at the end of the day, right, and the same criticism goes to best example I can give you again, Book of Boba Fett. Male writer, male lead, male director. That's not good. Like it doesn't matter, right? It doesn't matter. What matters is the quality good? Is the quality is the product or what you're trying to do well written? Um, my gripes, I think Kenobi was fine visually. My problem was that there's some gaping holes in the story that were just not addressed, and my problem was more with the writing of it.
Yeah.
There were glimpses of like, oh, this is great, and then on the other hand, right, you have Andor when you're hitting all the, you're hitting everything, right? You slow burn, but once you start cooking, it just goes. So yeah, I mean that's my opinion on it. I know that you kind of feel mostly the way I do, but go ahead, dude.
Yeah. I mean, like, the first thing is just reiterating, like, what you said is I don't want just because I am a male and if I criticize Star Wars, it's to be grouped into a sector of people that do exist that I will acknowledge that unfortunately are
Right.
extremely toxic
Yeah.
and will immediately attack based upon whether it's a female or a political ideology or some whatever that might look like that for some strange reason people take into a science fiction space epic fandom and so yeah like I don't want to be grouped into that when I say hey I don't think Tales of the Empire was the best thing. Well, guess what? Dave Filoni did that.
Right.
Oh, but he probably doesn't like it because the stories that they followed were female characters in the Empire, and if it was male characters, he would have loved it. No, that's not why I'm saying I criticizing it at all. I'm just telling you, like, when you talk about memorable Star Wars, I think Tales of the Jedi was more memorable. And guess what? That one had Ahsoka. It has a female character that we love.
Right.
So you can't pick.
You got two
You can't
female
cherry,
leads, dude.
two female leads.
Yeah.
You cannot cherry pick the ones that you're like, oh, but you're a toxic male because you're attacking this. But then the other ones that we do like that do have female leads in them, we're going, oh, well, make an exception.
Right.
Um, I think Kathleen Kennedy, um, she has every right to speak from this because she's on the front facing of it.
Absolutely.
And I think people need to be able to stop and listen and think about how they conduct themselves in this stuff. Uh, there is Star Wars YouTubers that I like and have enjoyed their content. I think that they are pretty level headed, but even some of them, unfortunately, have given voices to maybe some of the wrong people. And it's sad because I'm not a censorship kind of person. I think that like if you're think a certain type of way, you're allowed to say it, but with that comes consequences. Like if you're gonna say something really dumb, we're all gonna know. You know what I mean? I don't want you to hide in a
Right.
closet and we don't know you're
And
crazy.
and uh,
Um,
and go
and
just touching. I'm sorry to interrupt, man, but like just touching back and like we're not that kind of channel, right? If we want it, we could be,
Oh yeah.
there's plenty of again, I don't want to say, because I really um do not want to give this guys a platform. And we poke fun of Mike Zero because he's just freaking hilarious, right?
Yeah, yeah.
But like there's other channels, like, and you know
Yeah, oh
which
yeah.
you know which ones, I'm talking about, um that may they do bank on this. And
Right.
they're always on the outrage and the clickbait outrage,
Right.
and it's like, oh, this thing is terrible, and this thing. And we're not like that, right? We're objective. And like, again, She-Hulk is always going to be the best example. When it was good, we said it was good. When it was trash, we said it was trash. you know Eh,
First two episodes.
right. Yeah, yeah. And then after that, everything else is trash,
After that,
right?
it went down.
Yeah. So um so we can
Yeah.
we're objective. We don't have to, like, no one's paying. Like, we're not here to give you guys false pretenses. We're here to give you guys our objective opinion on this stuff. And again, Joel and I, you and I, we've agreed to disagree plenty of times, like
Oh
on the
sure.
show.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
like I know you're still salty that I think NFTs are a scam, and
I don't agree.
I will
Yeah.
still think about, dude.
I think it's ahead of its
I will
time.
take it to the grave. So, but yeah, man. Sorry. Go ahead.
No, no, you're good. You're good. No, I just think like when it comes to this stuff, there's a lot of things that yes could be because of how they maybe portrayed a female character. Like there's certain things that they did with Ray that I don't think for me was because she was just super powerful. It's just the way that they just handled just her overall story. I was like, they had something really interesting in the first movie set up, and then they just really dropped the ball on the rest of it. But like, there's so many parts of it that doesn't mean that I just say everything is bad, everything's good. There's just a lot of differences that I have, I think, with the direction that they're going. And I would not go out of my way to directly attack or enjoy attacking these creators because of them being a female, or same thing with the leads. That's not going to make it good or bad. But with all that being said, like the Acolyte's coming, right? Like it's coming next week. This is not the time that I think that this kind of stuff, this statement, which is obviously why, because there's she's having an opportunity to go on a media tour,
Right.
and this is why you're gonna start to see some of these conversations come about. The New York Times took an opportunity to ask her about this, and it makes sense considering the upcoming Ray film project, this project being one of the first TV series being led by a female showrunner, Leslie Headland. Um, and so like it makes sense. I'm not saying that the question was bad or anything. I'm just saying like I don't like the Acolyte needs to stand on its feet because the Acolyte's a good show. It does not need to stand on its feet because we need to support this because it's a woman, or we need to support this
Right.
or it just needs to be a good show that people watch, and that's okay. People support it. I'm saying because of being I'm just saying like on its own merit, it needs that. And I'm gonna give it that chance. Ironically enough, I know I meant I don't think I got to mention this to you yet, Obed, but I am intending on trying to do. They actually have an early screening. Star Wars was posting about on social media. They are going to have an early screening in Orlando on Monday for the first two episodes in theaters.
Okay.
So I've already got my reservation. I'm going to try and make it out to that. So I will see it a full day before, because it won't be until Tuesday at 9 p.m. when the first ones come out. And so, yeah, I'm not just giving it a chance. Like, I'm actually going to go out of my way to try and watch the first two in a theater because they offered it. I'm like, you know what? Why not? Sure. Um, I like no I my point being is I don't want if I come about this and say the Acolyte's one of the worst things or it is bad, if that does end up being the case. I don't know that. But if that isn't end up being the case, I don't want people to be
Right.
like, well, he's just saying that because he went in thinking it was gonna be horrible. I'm genuinely giving it a chance. Most Star Wars fans have been jaded, they're tired, and they're just like, I don't if it doesn't interest me, I'm not even gonna waste my time because you don't even like I think in your case, Obed, like you don't even want to be angry,
I
like
know.
you don't even want to like spend your breath and energy like where some of these other channels like you're saying and
Yeah.
people, it's like it's this. and I don't want to go too much on a rant here, but it's like an outrage culture. It's like
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
they're waking up and they're like, what are we angry about today?
Right.
And it makes it's like putting down Star Wars literally is like some way trying to like validify themselves or make themselves feel better or get more clicks and make more money. And that's just not what we want to be known for. This we live in a day and age where these videos are going to live on beyond us. These things are being preserved now and saved. Before it was a he said, she said, stories behind
Right.
whatever, how someone made someone feel. This is the kind of stuff your daughter's gonna be able to look back and say, like, yeah, my dad was truly having like a level-headed approach when, when he was talking about why he did or didn't like something. And I just think the way we are conducting ourselves is not that we're trying to be we're not trying to be insincere, but like this is truly just our beliefs and our standpoints on the stuff. And I can only hope that we encourage the fandom to do the same thing. And like if you don't like something, express it. They're totally
Yeah.
fair to say that,
Yeah.
but it's all about how you do it.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. Again, She-Hulk.
Right, right.
Yeah.
It's a
And
great
yeah.
example.
So yeah, you tell me how it is, and then I'll consider it. Yeah.
No,
Let's.
no, and you've always said that. You've
Yeah.
always said that.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
if it's actually good, you'll go back, but you have no intentions, and that's fair. I
Right. No.
respect that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right
And
now, that's me with Agatha. I'm gonna tell you right now,
oh yeah.
I
Yeah.
have zero intentions of watching it.
I have no interest in that.
I do not want to watch six
Yeah.
hours of that.
It gotta be
But I
like
wanted to see Echo. Don't tell
the
me it's one female character or something. Like I wanted to see Echo. I saw
right.
Echo.
I watched it. I enjoyed Echo. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I said it. Yeah.
Yeah.
The other thing with Agatha is like, man, it's like, what are you gonna do, right? Like, unless you're either building for something bigger or just like blow my socks off. Like, you got that trailers need those trailers that come out when the show's around the corner. They got they gotta ring it. It's like,
I know.
I don't know. That's something that I'm really not like
There's
not
no
even not even
excitement.
a passing interest in, right?
I forget it's coming out this
So
year sometimes.
yeah, yeah, yeah. It's another Marvel. It's probably the only other Marvel thing that's coming out this year, right?
Yeah,
Other than
outside you have
Deadpool, yeah,
Deadpool, and then you got Agatha.
yeah, man. I don't know. We'll see.
We'll see.
It's nuts. All right, Joe. We had have a quick update from the Xbox camp. Um, they finally decided that the next Call of Duty will be on Game Pass. They have also confirmed that it's Call of Duty Black Ops 6, which I I didn't even know there were six. I didn't even know there were five of them. I think I think the last one I remember was the one that came that there was a cool PS4 uh like
Oh
special
yeah,
edition
the,
of
the
it.
design.
Maybe it was three.
Yeah.
Like that's the last. I don't know. There were two more, huh? So like I don't know. Anywho, it's coming out on Game Pass. Just to be precise, so kind of confusing how they did it, right? Because their Game Pass tiers are kind of confusing too. There's that Game Pass Gold or whatever they call it. That's just the online that you can just go online on Xbox, right?
Yeah.
Then there's Game Pass Console that's going to give you the game, but does not include the online features.
Huh.
And then I gotta double check, but I'm pretty certain that on Game Pass PC, the game will be included on Game Pass PC. But on console, if you want the game with online features, you have to have Game Pass Premium.
Okay.
So it is a little bit confusing. But no, yeah, they I think Phil got a he convinced them of this. How well the strategy is going to pay off, we'll see. Um, at this point, it's like it's pretty clear that they're too far behind to catch up. And their strategy is completely different to what Sony and Nintendo are doing. Like I think for the first time in a long time, you can clearly see that all three manufacturers are doing something or are following a path completely different from each other, right? Because before, like back in the console war days, back in the 90s, um, they were just trying to out console each other. Then Sega started making missteps and kept making missteps throughout the 90s. Um, Nintendo was they were doing their own thing. Everyone went with CDs. Nintendo stick with cartridges, right? Um, but then when GameCube, PS2, and Xbox were around, let's not leave out the Dreamcast and Dreamcast, right? That they were still trying to do the thing, right? But then the next generation, when the Wii came out, that's when Nintendo started going off their own path, right? They said, like, we're not gonna follow the trends. We're gonna do our own thing. Um, and now it looks like all three are following a different path.
Yeah.
PlayStation, they're following a more traditional path. So is Nintendo, right? But they're doing it their own way.
Right.
But Xbox, you can tell that now they're concentrating again, and it's making this a service. That's the goal, right? The goal is not to sell consoles. The goal is to have subscribers to their service. That's the goal now. So, um, yeah. Again, how well is this gonna pay off? I don't know. We'll wait and see. It seems to me like, at least for now, um, this would at least keep some of the fans happy. That some of the fans that felt burned. Um, but if is it sustainable? I don't know.
I
We'll
don't
see.
know.
We'll see if it's sustainable. Next year, probably by like January, and we get and when we have data to compare to like previous years, it's like this is how well it did well when it was sold. This is how well it did when Game Pass, and that's what the difference is. So that's when we'll know. But I don't know if you have anything to
You're
add to that.
you are going to see a large amount of people move over to Game Pass because of this, and it just shows to me more so that they're trying to onboard more people to Game Pass because that probably is the future of Microsoft at this point. Like Xbox
Xbox, yeah.
specifically or Xbox division. Um, I like there's just no way around it. Like they're going to be a subscription based company like they've done with Office 365 and their other business models and that gaming's probably going to go in the same route.
Right.
And I don't think you're going to like your next gen console for Xbox, if that even happens, is going to be just a purely a Game Pass device essentially. And they're gonna market it as like a brand new X, but it's gonna be a Game Pass device. And yeah, like this is huge news for Game Pass. I think it's good news actually. I think this is a good reaction from their side. But like you said, truly data is gonna tell us if this really does have the positive response. How they make money, I don't really understand that because so Game Pass, obviously, you pay the one-time subscription or the monthly subscription, you get access to the catalog versus buying outright at $70 for a game. But when you have, um, your Activision, that when they have the deal that they had with Activision to acquire, with them, like that's where it's like you're still routing the money back to you if you really think about it. I just don't know how the financial side of that works when you're going directly to the subsidiary that you own, Activision, versus going directly through Game Pass. I think they can afford it. I think this is one of those few ones they can do because the money's going to come back to them to get people onboarded. And like I like them taking that chance to get
Yeah.
people in.
That'll be
It
another one to see if there's actually like any growth on Game Pass because it's been
correct.
stagnant for
It's probably
a
gonna
couple of
grow a
years
lot with
now.
this, dude. I really expect us to do. I actually wouldn't be surprised if you. I don't think it's gonna do. Don't get me wrong. Let's go crazy, but don't be surprised if you actually see a slight bump even in Xbox Series S's and X's in sales. Not when I say a slight bump, I'm talking like 2% increase. But
Yeah,
don't be surprised you see a little bump in that diagram that shows up for sales
right.
because people love their Call of Duty. And then when you're saying, "Oh, look, well, you can just get Game Pass and you have this and you have all these other games," it's fascinating.
Yeah, yeah. And again, it goes to where how long can this thing be sustainable? right? That's the big. At the end of the day, that's the big question.
Game
How
Pass sustainable, or do you mean Xbox sustainable,
Game
or both?
Pass, Game
Okay,
Pass,
okay.
yeah,
Oh
yeah, yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Xbox is sustainable, yeah.
yeah.
Game Pass, I don't know, right? And
I don't know,
that's the thing.
man.
Like you gotta like when you're spending $300 million making a game, like I don't know what the budget for Call of Duty is, but I'm assuming it's over 100 million,
Oh, sure.
150 at least, right?
Hmm.
At the minimum. Um, and you have 36, 34, 34 to 36 million subscribers on your service at 10 to $15 a pop. It's it's rough, right? When you still have Disney over here still making, they're just profitable with like 140 million subscribers, and there, I mean, She-Hulk was $250 million.
But She-Hulk is the standard for
It's the
everything.
standard of failure for everything.
It is like
Yeah,
somehow so applicable. It's crazy.
it's the
We could write
standard
a
of failure.
thesis on. We could write a thesis on
Oh,
that show, dude. We could have a whole episode just
post
like breaking it
mortem.
down, literally.
Yeah, it's
Oh
like
my goodness.
how does She-Hulk's failure translate to Call of Duty success? It's like
Right, like somehow it connects. It's gonna
it connects,
connect.
right? And that's the thing, because putting it like
Yeah.
no, and you know what? I'm gonna look it up. It's like
Oh,
let's see.
it's fact checking live. I
What was
love
called
this.
what was last year's Call of Duty?
Oh, don't ask me that. I'm not a Call of Duty guy. Just put up the year in.
Modern Warfare 3 was the from last year. Budget. The budget was $1 billion, dude.
No, it's
Do you
not.
think?
What?
Do you
What?
think? Do you think that is sustainable with 34 million subscribers, dude?
Well, I mean, even still, what I'm seeing here is 300 million, but then I see now it says the next one will cost 1 billion. So
Yeah.
this new one costs a billion. Yeah, they're, yeah, that's what I'm saying. They're taking a loss, but I think their hope is really just to gain subscribers. I don't think they're expecting to make
Yeah.
a huge profit from this.
I think
It's like
this
a
is
return on investment long
I
term.
think this is a make or break for I think
Really? Wow.
I think for Phil.
Oh, okay, 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 okay. Yeah, because
I
it's a
think
gamble. It's a
it's a
gamble.
gamble. I think Phil
That's
is
true.
like, yo, you let me do this. If it doesn't pay off, let me go. Yeah, I'm out then.
Yeah. You're
And
gonna
do
get
whatever
like
do
10
and you can
million
do
more
whatever you want.
subscribers or something. He's probably putting
Right.
some kind of numbers out
Yeah.
there. And
But I don't think like that's not worth 10 million subscribers, dude.
no, 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 no. I don't think so. I don't
Like
think so.
it's
But I think
insane.
there's people who would believe that. I think you're gonna
Right.
again, you're gonna see a lot of people sign up. It's gonna
Well, we'll
grow.
see. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I
That's
really
I'm
believe it.
like
But
January
I
is
don't
gonna
think
be
it's gonna save.
like I can't wait to see those numbers like January. Like once we have like
Yeah.
tangible data from like at least 60 days and we can see what subscription trend is versus sales, and compared to Modern Warfare 3, which actually underperformed. Like I don't think Call of Duty is as hot as a lot of
Yeah.
people think it is right now.
I agree.
Warzone is, but money's on Fortnite,
Yeah, oh yeah.
and the
Disney got that.
yeah, Disney got a piece of that, and Sony because they invested in
Right.
Epic too. So um, I think that's what the way to properly invest into these properties was, right? Was just to invest in those companies, just not outright buy them. And then it's like, hey, what do we do now? It's like we
Right,
don't have
right.
enough people to manage all these people that we just got in. Oh, I don't know. I don't know. But I think this make or break for Phil. If the gamble doesn't pay off, Phil's out by write it down.
Whoa, he's
Write it
already got
down.
a
End of
timeline?
fiscal year. End of fiscal year. When does Microsoft fiscal year end? When does Microsoft fiscal year start? July. So by July 1st next year, Phil's out if it doesn't pay off.
I'm pulling this in.
Yeah, put it in. If it doesn't pay off, Phil's out by July 1st next year. So we'll we'll leave it at that.
It's there. It's there.
So interesting note before we go into the state of meh. Um, PlayStation released some uh, generation information and basically how much sales versus operating income they've had in all of the generations, including PS5. And PS5 is the most profitable generation with not as many sales. But, considering that the generation is not done yet, this could, I mean, it already is, but it could be the most profitable generation for Sony by far, by a large margin. Um, keeping, you gotta keep in check, right, that there's still 100 million plus PS4s out there
Right.
that are active, that people are actually like playing on.
Yeah.
Plus whatever the the amount of PS5s are. What was the last time, like 60 or whatever. So
Yep.
yeah, this is very interesting, which means that they are getting better at what the one of the new co-CEOs was talking about. Not her, not Halls, the other guy, the Japanese guy. Um, Tony. So, um, uh, I'm gonna start
If you
cracking
know,
up.
you know.
If you,
If you
yeah, if
know,
you
you
know, you
know.
know. Um,
What a
where
time.
I'm
This
dying
guy.
now.
Oh, jeez. I don't even know where he was going, but you had to identify him as the Japanese guy, man. Our
Uh,
fans in Japan.
yeah.
Thank you.
So yeah, yeah. We do appreciate you guys.
Absolutely.
Yeah. My Duolingo
There's
is
there's
my Duolingo Japanese lingo is progressing pretty well. So I'm
oh,
good.
dude, I need to get in that. No,
Yeah.
we appreciate y'all. There's just a great inside joke.
No, it's an inside joke. Yeah. Yeah.
Yep.
We're still celebrating Asian Pacific Heritage Month,
Islander.
right? Yeah, Islander Month. Yeah. So that's why. Um, where he said that they're going to focus on retention, right, and retaining uh, instead of just releasing more games, retaining people
Yeah.
longer on games, and thus producing revenue that way. Um, that strategy, based on this, right, that seems to be the way to go for PlayStation. So, and I guess we can segue into state of play. Before we do that, sir, anything you want to add that is not related to our buddy Tony?
No, no. I mean, like, like you're saying, there, the numbers around what PlayStation has been able to accomplish this year, and we'll talk about State of Play in a moment here, has just been absolutely phenomenal. Um, and this just goes into like real life stuff, man. Like, I'm not saying this isn't real life, but I'm saying like tangibly stuff that I've experienced and I see. Like, I play NBA 2K with a group of friends, and three of us are on PlayStation and two people are on Xbox. That ratio just alone already shows you that the majority of people are on. There are absolutely an Xbox community, but just the amount of people who own a PlayStation and have become very happy with their PlayStations is
Right.
just absolutely incredible. I think that yes, 2023, interesting year. Some of this stuff, even Microsoft and others, I think, can blame some world economics for some of the things that have been going on. There's no thing that's being said in here. This is just general
Right.
information. But let's be real, like we don't talk about, certain things on the show. We try and keep it like for everyone, but like there are wars going on, there are, all kinds of things going on when we had COVID, that was an issue back then, right? Actually, if anything, that actually helped sales when people were playing games more. But I'm
Right.
just saying, like, some of the numbers that we see are definitely affected by some of the things going on now. But when you see this, the company says, like in the statement in the articles, the company seems confident that the console's best days are still ahead. Like, I 100% agree with that. Like, there's no way around that. Like, the outlook at least is still extremely positive. So yeah, I mean, it's interesting data nonetheless.
Yeah. Yep. Cool. Um, and then going to state of play, we get the first thing that they showed is Concord, which is a PvP
Yeah.
Overwatch like
Yeah.
game, and I I think that it's not the game for me.
Right.
But
Right.
if the game is good, I know that this would be a good game for PlayStation to have and keep retention on some of those users that they're talking about, right? This could be the game that they can have, and I mean, they could, for all we know, this could be another Battleborn and it's up for 2 months and that's it, right?
Yeah. Sure.
But the game is going into beta. They are it's coming out on PC as well. I'm assuming it's going to have crossplay with
Probably.
PC, and if it looked good. Like, it looked fine, right?
Yeah. Oh
It's
yeah.
like it's not necessarily my cup of tea. Like that, the whole like hero shooter doesn't really move my needle, right? Um, but if it's fun, like I don't like Battlefront is fun, then
Yeah.
this is something we could stream. I don't know. I doubt
Yeah.
this is gonna be free to play. I'm assuming they're probably just going to have to charge an entry fee for it, but I think that this is a game that could benefit quite well from it being included in uh like PlayStation Plus Extra or and Premium, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, look, they showed a little
I thought it
cinema.
was a great way to start the show personally because it
Yeah,
was like, oh, this is interesting.
it's
What is
new,
this?
right?
Okay, like this looks like it's pretty cool. I don't I was not familiar too much with the studio to be honest with you. But so I can't really speak to like what other work they've done, but yeah, I like to see like a multiplayer shooter game like this be out there separate from we'll talk about in a little bit the Marvel Rivals and stuff like that. Like
Right, right,
having
right.
a different like they really did seem to offer a lot of multiplayer stuff and there's been a rise in multiplayer games. This is like a thing for a while. Like I've always been a PlayStation guy that enjoys his adventure games and stuff like that.
Right.
But there's a rise in demand for
Bro,
multiplayer where people want to play with their friends online and like that they'll do that more than go out and socialize outside. And I don't
there's
know, man.
dude, that every time I log in, because I've
Yeah,
been again, I'm stuck on Super Saiyan 3,
yeah,
but I keep going into fighters, and um and there's a lot of people doing ring matches. Like they
yeah.
just call their friends in and then they'll do a ring match. So I'm just sitting there waiting for a rank match for like 5 minutes, and you
Wow.
see a bunch of people just around the lobby, just playing ring matches, and there's and when you go and check their ranks, and they have like 0 wins. Like these are like probably people that just got the game. It's like, hey, let's get together and play it, right? And let's have
Right,
fun.
right.
And that's it. Battlefront, dude. Like
Yeah.
all those games were
Oh,
full.
those.
All
Oh
those
yeah.
games last week, dude. On Battlefront 2, man.
Everyone's playing online right now with their friends.
It's crazy.
There's a demand for this, dude.
Yeah. So, um, yeah, yeah. I mean, if the game is good, like if it's well
Sure.
received, again, the game's coming out on PC. I'm sure PC players are gonna go over it and check it out. And if it catches up, they could
We'll
have
see.
another hit in their hands like they had with Helldivers. So
Right.
Helldivers 2. So yeah, man. Yeah. Ragnarok's coming to PC.
Surprise,
So
surprise.
surprise, surprise. The game's real good. Game's real good. So, uh, you know, highly recommending.
It's not an exclusive open.
It's not exclusive.
It
It
only
was
makes
it
sense
was
they
for like
have to
two
do it.
years. Who
Right.
cares? It was when it was hot,
It's so
right?
good they would be foolish not to do this.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I don't know if you saw that Ghost of Tsushima did really well on PC.
Yeah.
Like that was
Yeah.
like the number one selling game on PC or
They're
whatever.
making
Yeah,
money. Come on.
dude, come on. Yeah,
And like you
and I
said, they
and
didn't
I
they
think
didn't
that's
do this
the
day
I
one.
think that's the great strategy. I think again, I'm not saying it because I was like, yo, Sony, hit me up, right? And it's like it's not like I used to do with Bob. I'm not doing that anymore. But um, but Sony, like that's their strategy. If it's multiplayer, Let's release it on both, PC and console at the same time. If it's our single player, if it's a flagship single player thing, release it on our console first, keep it there for 2 years, and then put it on PC. That seems to be the strategy, right? That was the strategy when with Final Fantasy. So I'm assuming that Final Fantasy 16 is coming out on PC this summer, and I'm assuming that Rebirth is coming out next February on PC or March. So that's a good strategy, man. Because you keep your fan base happy, you keep your core audience happy,
Yeah, yeah.
but then you're giving other players that are not on your platform the opportunity to have a taste of what you offer, right? It's not like let's put it on everything like Xbox, right? And
Right,
then
right.
it doesn't really matter, and then you don't sell consoles, and then your fanboys are sad about it. So it's what it is. Astrobot. So a new Astro
Dude.
game. People asleep on these things, man. That
I
game's real
know.
good.
It comes preloaded with your PlayStation, the first one, and like
That game
it's
is really
the
good.
way it uses your dual sense. So that's what makes it so good. Is like it shows you the capabilities of the dual sense
Right.
and taps into every feature under the sun. And
Yep.
I'm just like, that's literally something that you need to get onboarded. Like I highly recommend if you're gonna start playing on your PS5, that's the first thing you should be playing.
Yeah.
And now having something like this, it's just a fun, like, nice thing to offer. And I know Obid, like they show a lot of times, like you flying on the dual sense. I'm curious if it's gonna be actual like motion, like using the controller, like picking up the
Oh,
tilts and stuff
probably.
fully.
Yeah.
Probably not just actually using the joystick to do your
Yeah.
direction. So I just like that's like taking immersion fully.
Yeah. No, totally. So Ragnarok is coming out September 19th. This is coming out September 6th. So they do have a first party game coming out. Yeah, that first game that it's real good. And I also heard that the PS4 VR thing is really good. So these guys are they're a good studio. I mean, I want to just put it out there. It's not Mario Odyssey.
Right, 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 right.
So don't expect Mario Odyssey, but it's better than most like um yeah which how should I say this better than most like mascot platformers in
Yeah,
the last not counting Mario. This is probably better than some of the Sonic stuff that's come out lately.
for sure,
Like straight up,
for sure,
it's real good.
for sure. It's crazy.
I don't know. As a Sonic Mania, Sonic Mania is different, right? Sonic Mania, but
Correct.
there's some other stuff out there that this thing, this little game is way better than. So, pretty good stuff. All right, Joe, yeah, Marvel Rivals, sir, take it away.
Yeah, this is we saw some of this before, so we're seeing more now of the gameplay around it, and it was one of those like surprising types of announcements for us. But dude, coming out 2025, which is what we assumed to know originally with it, and I just strongly have the sense, man, that this is gonna be one of those multiplayer games that's gonna really take off very strongly because of the intellectual property. Like you put Marvel on it, it's gonna get some eyes on it. And like we're talking about again, the rise in demand for multiplayer games. And it's you're not limited to just being, a shooter. Like you have different powers that each character has. So the abilities are not gonna just be, okay, I just need to be able to, shoot a rifle. Like there's
Right,
Storm's gonna do something different than Spider-Man and whatever. So I think like that's gonna help it be a strong thing. This is one of those games that I would love for us to stream when it comes out just to see how it is. But
right.
yeah, man, it seems interesting.
So just a quick thing, the closed beta is starts in July, so this game more likely will come before the end of the year. So
Yeah,
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 it looked good. So okay, I like Concord. Concord looked fine, right?
sure. This is your fancy
But
though.
this is like this is the kind of game that I would like to like get together and stream. Like
Let's do it.
yeah, I don't know if we can get into that closed beta. Let's we can definitely
We'll
put our names
try.
in it. We'll try. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. But yeah.
Probably couldn't stream it if we get them
It's
the beta, I assume.
we could.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
there's no
I don't
blocks
think
on
I don't think I
games
don't
that are
think
like
there's
that.
yeah I don't think there's any anything weird with betas. Yeah. Um. Yeah. It looked cool.
Look
I
cool.
like it. I like it. Yeah. It looks like yeah. I mean, because it is kind of like Overwatch, right? But then you know it takes hero shooter to the next level because it's like actual heroes. You know, you got your Spidey and your Hulks and whatnot, and yeah, it looks cool. Yeah, and
Yeah,
it looks fun.
totally.
So I'm curious. I'm curious. I'm curious how they're going to market that game. Like, is that game going to be free to play? Is it going to be
Yeah, I was
medium,
thinking the same thing.
middle of the road entry fee? Is it going to be
No, it's free to play.
it's
It'll be
for
free to play.
it's free to play?
Yep.
Oh yeah, it is free to play.
That's a great way to onboard people.
Yeah, man. Okay, there you go, Joel. So we are going to stream this game at some
Yep,
point.
there you go.
At some point we will.
So it's on PlayStation, on PS5, but it's also gonna be on PC,
And
and Mac
Xbox, yeah.
OS
Yep.
and Xbox. Yeah. So yeah,
Yeah, man.
it'll be great.
Cool. All right. Monster Hunter Wilds
Sure.
2025. It's the follow up to Monster Hunter World. It looks real good. Looks real good. I miss Worlds. By the time I was able to get Worlds on that the PS Plus collection, I think there's people still playing Worlds, but or World. Um, but by the time like the craziness over it had died down, I was like, But this looks real good. This is a game that I wouldn't mind checking out for sure. So
Yeah. I think it's gonna be one of those we'll be interested. I mean, Monster Hunter's not. So I saw the announcement, I was like, it's just because of the IP, but
right.
it could be good.
No, yeah, and those Monster Hunters has always been real good.
Yeah.
Um, it's one of those franchises that I always wanted to try, and I've never had the opportunity. So it's one of
Oh,
those. Yeah,
maybe this is it.
yeah, maybe if it's coming out next year, I don't know how dry next year is gonna be like. I know that this year there's a few things coming out. I'm still on Final Fantasy. I'm like 80 hours in, and the game doesn't end. I'm doing all the side stuff. I'm trying to just trying to get it out of the way. And I know that the Elden Ring DLC comes out in like 2 weeks, so I gotta finish it
Yeah.
up. I gotta put some time on it next week and see if I can get it. So it's a lot. Um, the Silent Hill 2 remake coming out October 8th. This is a PS5 exclusive. They have not announced that this game is coming out anywhere else. As far as I know, if someone's out there that can correct me, can go ahead and do that. But um, looks better than the last trailer. The last trailer was a little bit concerning. I haven't watched the extended preview that they did after the state of play. So I'll check it out later. But it does look better than what they showed previously, and yeah, it looks good. Like the creepy ambience and the and all that is there. So um,
PS5, October 8th.
yep, may not be a bad idea to check it out. I think it's coming out at the perfect time, perfect Halloween game. So you know, check it out. Silent Hill 2 is probably one of the best like survival horror games. Man, that game is so good. So. Dynasty Warriors Origins. So this is one of the Muso games coming out next year. These games are lots of fun.
Yeah.
Last one I played was the Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity on the Switch, um, which is unfortunate. No, the game's really good. It's just that the Switch just chugs on that game, man.
Yeah.
Like it's like real chuggy. Like I can't wait to check out those games that were real chuggy on whatever the new hardware is,
I
because
know.
you can tell that the frame rate's unlocked, and it just like chugs real bad. but I can't
It's
wait to check
limited.
that out later. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I can't wait to check it out later. So, um, yeah, man. Um, Until Dawn remastered is coming out now on PS5 and PC. Not much to say there. It's Until Dawn. If you've seen it, you've seen it. Um, where winds meet. Uh, this is a kind of like an action RPG
Yep.
game. I do not recognize the studio. Seems like there's a couple of like either Chinese or Korean studios here. I'll research them later.
Sure.
But it looks like PlayStation is actually banking on some smaller Asian studios, kind of like what they did with Stellar Blade. It's like, oh, these guys are doing this really cool thing in Korea. Let's go ahead and give them money so they can finish up and put it on our platform. So it looks like they're looking for a smaller experience that they can put on PlayStation, based out of Asia. And yeah, all the three that they showed. So that one, Infinity Nikki, which seems to be like a kind of like a Pokemon almost kind of thing, and Ballad of Antera. They all look very similar. So they all look interesting in their own way. Doesn't really do anything crazy for me, but um, I think where Winds Meet looked really good. I think there's some of the stuff on Bellavantera that looks really, really good. Infinite Nikki is probably not going to be for me. That's not. It's not a game that's for me, but yeah. But it didn't
But
look.
you don't want to change her
It
outfits
didn't
and
look
watch her go
bad though.
around the
Oh,
forest
it
and
didn't look bad though. Oh, by the way, I forgot to tell you
oh, here we go,
at
here
the
we
beginning
go.
of the show. Because my daughter like school year's over, right?
Yeah.
And so I got her something for like a surprise. So let's go
Oh,
Pikachu. I was
there
able
you
to
go.
find a new.
Review next week.
I was able to find a new copy. It's actually pretty good.
Okay,
It's
okay.
actually pretty good.
We've already had
It,
started. Nice,
it
nice.
plays. It's very interesting, Joel. That game plays better on docked than on the TV.
Wow, wow.
Yep.
I mean, that's,
She's been playing it on the Switch Lite, and then we
nice,
tried it on the
nice.
TV, and it was weird. And then
Wow,
on the Switch Lite or
it's
docked, it
better.
just feels way better. So but it's good. Game looks good, runs good,
That's awesome.
and we've been catching Pokemon, so it's not bad. Um, so it kind of yeah, the Infinite Age reminded me of that. So I know it's not for me. It's not Pokemon. Like Pokemon's for me. That's not for me. Alien Rogue Incursion. It's a VR horror game, of course, featuring the Alien franchise. It was very interesting to see that 20th Century Games
I know.
logo.
You had that, and then you had also the Skydance game as well. And it was like those are like your two big VRs. Like, well, like they're going a little bit more like on the film side, like for a gaming
Right,
experience. Like I like that. Like
right,
I'm not a big VR person, but if I was, I'd want something to feel a little more cinematic if I'm gonna be engulfed into
right.
it.
And Skydance, that's John Lasseter's working there, right?
Yeah,
Yeah. So
yeah.
there might be some interesting stuff happening there. But that was basically it. Nothing too crazy. Just keep an eye on Silent Hill. The
Yep.
game that game's it looks better than it like it was concerning the last time that we saw it. Now it looks very very good. So gives me hope for the Metal Gear remake. We haven't seen any of that, and that was supposed to come out this year too. So I don't know. I don't know what's gonna happen there. But yeah, there's a couple things here that will keep you interested. I don't. I personally don't think that they went too crazy because they have a lot of third party stuff that's going to be announced next week or whenever Summer Games Fest is. I know that there was a trailer today for Dragon Ball Sparking Zero, and they said stay tuned for Summer's Game Fest. So more than likely they'll announce a release date and whatnot there. And yeah, I think that they're holding back for sure, and they'll probably do another thing like later in the summer. And I know that Nintendo's gonna do something soon. Xbox is gonna have their thing next week or whatever. So yeah, we'll definitely keep you guys posted. But that's what I have.
Absolutely. Well, I think it was a great show. Good conversation as always. And we want to invite everyone to stay connected, stay subscribed. We are on podcast platforms of your choice, places like Spotify, Amazon Music, SoundCloud. We're out there. Subscribe, follow us on these audio only versions of the show. If you'd also write a review on those platforms, that would really help us out to be, discovered by others and help other people to find our show and enjoy this wonderful time we have together discussing fandom. You also can subscribe to No Load Time on our YouTube channel to watch the video version of our show. We have these videos, we have clips, segments from the show, and other content, especially with upcoming conventions that we'll be covering. We talked about last week. I'll be at Florida SuperCon in Miami, and I'll be in San Diego Comic Con and Tampa Bay Comic Convention, and so much more we're looking to do. So make sure you stay subscribed on our YouTube channel. Additionally, you can follow us on social media at No Load Time. That's at No Load Time. Places like Facebook, Instagram, Threads, TikTok, X. We're out there. Follow us. Additionally, you can send an email to noloadtime@gmail.com. That's noloadtime@gmail.com. Questions, comments, feedback. We'd love to hear from you. Send an email to there, and Oben and I will be able to check it out. And last but not least, we talked about at the beginning of the show, but if you consider supporting our show, we are on Patreon, patreon.com/no load time. That's patreon.com/no load time. You can support the show with as little as $1 a month and be able to help us to continue to grow and do more for the show. We've got some great plans in store, but we can't do it without you. So if you consider partnering with us and follow and supporting us on Patreon, that'd be great. But with all that being said, we look forward to being with you guys on our next episode. Thank you.
Thank you guys. Stay safe. We'll see you again next time.